It's very nice to be thought of as being pretty, as being, it's a plus. It's nice. It's not terribly important, but it is nice to have it in your favor.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here, and I really appreciate your time. I wanted to come on here really quickly and just speak about this whole conversation that's going on with the actress, model, singer Zendaya, and her recently being engaged to her boyfriend. I think of like a couple of years. They dated for a while, Tom Holland, and how the recent news of their engagement has caused this really uncomfortable, kind of mean-spirited conversation, but maybe necessary conversation concerning how Zendaya seems to be on a better path than recently. Quite a few black female rappers have turned up pregnant without rings, engagement announcements. So the comparison obviously has started, whereas people are discussing the fact that Zendaya was able to get Tom Holland to propose to her before having his child, and many of the other rap girlies are just turning up pregnant. There's been discourse on possibly the issue being the race of men. So it's turned into yet another gender wars situation where you have women saying, oh, well, the reason why Zendaya was able to get a proposal first is because her boyfriend is white, and these black women are messing with black men, right? And so then you have other people saying, well, no, it's not about the race. It's not about the race of man. It's about your personal principles and the things that you personally care about. And, typically black women have low standards and tolerate nonsense and basically allow men to impregnate them before they express that they want to marry them or they want to give them any type of serious commitment. So I wanted to make a video addressing that. And first of all, before I continue, I just want to be open and honest and saying that I am a huge Zendaya fan. We love her over here in my household. When I was a preteen, I watched Shake It Up, and my daughter now watches Shake It Up, even though it's basically an old show to her at this point, but she loves Shake It Up. She watches it. So I love Zendaya. I admired her from the beginning. I think how she has really maneuvered herself and selected which roles to play, as well as which campaigns that she modeled for. I think her rise and her solidifying herself as a real, actual A-list Hollywood actress, I think should be studied, because it's very clear that the people who are managing her understand what her strengths are and understand what she's best suited for. And I think she's avoided a lot of the pitfalls that obviously a lot of young Disney stars obviously go to. When you take a look at her co-star on Shake It Up, Bella Thorne, if you look at Bella Thorne's trajectory versus Zendaya's trajectory, there's clearly a huge difference. Although it was set up so that Bella Thorne would be the breakout star of Shaking Up, it actually ended up being Zendaya. So I am not going to tolerate any Zendaya bashing because I think she's absolutely incredible. I really wish the best for her, and I've watched a couple interviews in which she said that she has turned down roles because she understood that her biracial imagery, that her appearance would lessen or take away roles from actual black women. And when I mean actual, I mean monoracial full black women. So she has turned down certain roles because she did not want to play into those stereotypes. So I absolutely appreciate that, because we know how in Hollywood a lot of times black women don't play black women. It's oftentimes biracial black women who play black women, and they act like they can't find no black women to play these roles. But the fact that she even has that in the back of her mind, I find that to be extremely, extremely awesome. So that's my little spiel on how much I love and enjoy Zendaya. But yes, to get to the topic of women who are getting rings as opposed to getting babies. The truth of the matter is, it has nothing to do with the race of man. It really, really doesn't. And this is why I constantly try to express to black women, and why I found that similar to the exotical space, I was not able to align with the divestment space, because The fundamental beliefs of divestment, I think, are exaggerations. I think are extreme, and and that's more on the minor side. But at worst, it's quite racist and white supremacist. A lot of things that you hear them speaking about. So, I don't believe that the race of man decides what type of life you have or how successful your relationship will or won't be. I don't believe that. I believe that you as a woman have more to do with what you attract versus the actual race of man that you are attracting. And I feel like this goes both ways, both genders, right? Because a lot of times in a red pill space, you'll hear black men saying things like, oh, white women are so much better. They're better partners. Da, 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 da. And then when you look at the way black men show up in those relationships, how they try to make themselves compatible with white women, you'll see an effort they just don't have when it comes to black women. And so I don't find that to be a coincidence. It's just typically has to do with how you view your race as well as how you view other races. So if you think other races are better than you, then you're going to show up as a different type of partner when you're dating them because you think you have to be on their level. But if you looked at yourself and your race in the same way, you would execute and put the same effort into your relationships that you would with a non-black person. But that's, Now, coming from a woman who has been proposed to 3 separate times, never been pregnant, never had abortions, with my last serious relationship with my last fiance, we were intentionally trying to have a baby and I had a miscarriage, which ultimately I believe that was God's plan and God's design because that relationship was very abusive. But I can tell you, as someone who has always decided when she wants to be pregnant and when she doesn't, that again, that has to do with your diligence in selecting birth control or any type of contraceptive method to ensure that you don't get pregnant. A lot of times women don't want to hear this, but they put their pregnancy on the other person or the man as if they don't know where babies come from, as if they don't know how they got pregnant, when that's just simply not true. We have so much control over our wombs, over our bodies, before another party is even introduced. So if you want to be out here sleeping around and having raw sex with men, every man you do that with, you're picking to be the father of your child. You're choosing to get pregnant. And because that has been my mindset ever since I was 16, 17. And that's because, once again, my mom did her job in explaining to me that pregnancy is not some far away foreign concept, that it's a very real thing that can happen to you whether you want to or not, whether you intend to or not. And every time you choose to lay down with somebody and you expose your womb to them, which is having raw sex with no type of protection, then you will possibly get pregnant because that's the way our bodies are designed. And because that has been my mindset ever since I was a teenager, that's always the standard in which I've held in my life. If I don't want to be pregnant, if I don't want you to be the father of my child, we're not having raw sex. We're not even getting anywhere near that. And so I think a lot of times, specifically with black women and our culture and our community, that pregnancy is looked at as something that just happens or that you have to do. Like, it's just a normal rites of passage for a black woman to get pregnant at a young age, or to be a single mom, or to get pregnant from a guy that she's not in a real committed relationship with. Like, we look at it as normal, and because most of our families tend to be matriarchies in a sense that we support each other, so because we're so used to their being single moms, a lot of the aunties and the cousins and the sisters, we rally towards each other and we are used to helping each other, and it becomes a sort of generational practice in which, oh girl, it's okay if you're at your baby shower alone, we'll be here, we'll get you stuff, don't worry about him. Rather it being, let's start teaching our daughters how to better think about how they interact with men sexually, such that they don't end up as single mothers to begin with, such that they don't end up having children before they're ready and need a community of women to help support one child because their household is not strong enough, because they're not able to support the child on their own. Instead of us rallying behind her to go to court and put his ass on child support, let's try to teach our young girls and our family, don't get pregnant. Don't don't participate in raw sex with this person. Because the truth of the matter is, if you're gonna, if I'm, and I'm gonna go there, and I'm gonna know it's gonna, I know this is going to upset and trigger some of you who watch this video. But the concept that you sleep with a guy, you get pregnant, and then you find out he ain't shit later on, and now you're struggling, and you're mad at him and want him to be a man, it's kind of silly to me. You knew going into y'all being sexual with each other that he probably wouldn't be someone that is responsible or reliable, but you gave him your womb. And this again, this goes back and forth. This is not gender specific. I say the same thing to men who get online and complain about their baby moms all day. You slept with her. You had raw sex with this lady. And there's no way, like I said, someone starts off being a good person and dependable and oh great, and then they just completely flip. No, a lot of times people be sleeping with people and they don't even know that well. They don't have real relationships with, that they are just seeing in the booty call hours, and then they mess around and get pregnant. And now you're pregnant by someone who you didn't even have an actual real relationship with yourself. So what kind of relationship do you think they're going to have with your child? For me, what I have always thought was really poignant is the difference between when men sleep around and have kids all over the place and when women sleep around and have kids all over the place is the women are typically going to be the one who's left holding all of the work, the baby, the responsibility. Because you have to actually carry the baby. You have to deliver the baby. You have to put your life on the line to push out your child. And then you're stuck with the baby. So I don't understand why so many women put themselves in a position to be left carrying all of the burden of the child. Again, the only time I've been pregnant, and I'm 31 years old. The only time I've been pregnant was when I decided to come off of birth control. I decided to sleep with my then fiance and have unprotected sex. I decided to be open to the possibility of getting pregnant by him. All of my other partners, I have not wanted to get pregnant. Even now in my marriage, I don't want to be pregnant. Right now, I don't want to have any more kids. So I'm on birth control. We have to be honest about the fact that sometimes Black women, culturally, the things that we are taught feed into the fact that we do not make good choices concerning governing our womb, governing our body. It's about you as a woman and what standards that you have, that you implement, that you reinforce. Because it's your body and it's your womb. And I'm pretty sure that Zendaya has had opportunities where she could have gotten pregnant. But I don't think she wanted to because I think she's very much into her career right now. She's building her brand. And she's doing an excellent job at it. If you have the same standards in your life concerning I don't want to do this right now. I will only entertain pregnancy when I'm in a real actual committed marriage, or even if you don't believe in marriage, a real actual committed relationship where I know this person is going to be there with me. If you don't have that as your own personal standard, then yes, you will accept whatever a man brings you. But yeah, that's all I have to say on the topic. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.